I sent you, no. I sent you 1,000 plastic baby Jesuses that are supposed to go inside of cakes that you feed to families and children that in theory you do not choke to death on. And then if you receive the baby Jesus in your slice of cake, it's your responsibility to make next year's cake, because that's not pagan at all. Welcome to the Yaoi Shelf.
Are we recording? Oh my god.
I'm getting good at this.
What are you doing? You're like constantly ambushing me. But it's okay. Today is the day of ambushes. Hello, dear listeners.
I love that like Carola is bullied is like a trope now. I'm bullying you.
I love it here. No, seriously, it's fine. It's your thing now. It's okay.
That I'm a bully. Oh my god.
But it's
I have the "this is a serious topic" candle. It's
what
mint.
Oh, I love mint.
Yeah.
I'm currently eating eucalyptus. What do you call them?
Cough drops.
Yeah, to try to clear up my head.
Okay. For some reason, my brain just stopped at eucalyptus, and I'm like, what, the koala?
Yeah. No, I'm just sitting here eating eucalyptus.
That's what, like, my brain was like, what happened?
Welcome to the Yaoi Shelf, where we steal the food of cuddly Australian animals.
Who can give you chlamydia.
Yeah.
Because they thought forever that it wasn't transferable. It is. Koalas can give you chlamydia.
Why must you ruin everything that is beautiful?
That's my job.
That's
my whole job.
Like, I feel like everyone knows this now. It's just no one talks about it because, like, we just
no. This is actually fairly new science because everyone's like, because it started out as like a dumb like urban legend thing. Because like chlamydia in koalas presents entirely different as like chlamydia does in humans. Obviously, it basically gives them this disease called like soggy bottom, and they go blind. Don't ask why I know these things. Don't ask.
It's okay.
And then they were like, oh, well, like you can't get chlamydia from koalas because, there's concern about like rescues and handlers and stuff like that. Not just deviants out in the forest, but like people with jobs that their jobs are like to handle koalas. This is the sign for handling koalas, I guess, if you're watching video.
Okay.
But turns out you absolutely can get chlamydia from a koala. It's not the same, but it is transmissible to humans.
And the plot thickens for all of the animal boys out there.
Please don't fuck actual koalas.
That wasn't what I meant. I meant...
I'm good! Is this why your mom doesn't know about the podcast?
Yes.
Is this why you won't tell your mom about us?
I told my mom about us. I just,
Is this why you won't tell your mom about us? Because we're talking about getting STIs from koalas.
And, things that I have said on the air that are now on the internet forever.
You signed up for this. I didn't need to do this.
Last month's episode was wild. No, was it last month that I was talking about incest?
Yes, it was.
Hello there, listeners.
I love how you also don't remember. So, Carola, what are we talking about today if you're not reading the scrolling banner or if you haven't read the episode notes?
We are going to take a step into the world of Seme and Uke, the one trope that ruled them all. In many ways, kind of basis poster child trope for the BL genre, I want to say. Therefore, because we did talk about our Fujin journey a while ago, and I was looking for this, I forgot to bring it out. I brought out my Seme color. I used to wear this when I was a teenager.
I have an armband. I have a Seme armband, but it has a little bit of like a fabric stain on it. So I want to remake it and make it better because it's also in red. I don't own anything red, obviously.
But red goes well with black.
It does, but it feels like fascist cosplay. Like there's just something about like red and black together that feels like you're too many steps to fascist cosplay.
Oh god.
But I do have a Seme armband. I'll probably dig it up and take a photo of it. So we're talking about Seme Uke, which you're right, like absolutely is. When you talk about like Yaoi 101 is one of the bricks, one of the foundational elements. And we're especially talking about one, how important it was in the past to Fujian culture. And then
Yep.
two, about maybe why now it isn't so great. Maybe.
Maybe.
Potentially. So grab a seat, relax, buckle up. We're gonna be here for a little while.
Yeah.
Um,
My
so let's
apologies in advance because like I'm super congested because the pollen came for me and I'm so sorry to all our listeners.
cackles and Texan. When I was a kid, I had really, really severe allergies and asthma. I still do, but like I just die softly now. And my parents took me to an allergist, like most good parents do. And, when they asked, what can we do for our dying little bubble child? The allergist said, leave the state.
Wow.
He said, move to Arizona where everything's dead. My parents
Clearly you
didn't do
didn't.
that.
No.
I didn't, yeah. But that was his recommendation in like 1995 was leave. She's not healthy here. She's never going to be healthy here.
Why are you
Turns
still
out.
there?
He is correct. And I moved to the worst allergen city in the state where we have cedar fever, where you can see the cedar jizz thick on your car. And
I
then you
am
wonder,
never, ever coming to visit you. I would
you
die.
would die. You would die. Cedar fever. Cedar fever is so bad that I had a cedar fever attack. And I went to the hospital to do a breathing treatment. And I told the doctor, hey, I have allergies and asthma. Pretty sure it has to do with the inches of tree cum everywhere.
Did you actually use the word tree cum?
No,
Okay.
I wish I did. But I said, hey, I have allergies and asthma, probably from, Swipe's door,
Oh
this.
my god.
And the doctor, he goes to hug me, but stops. And it's like, what's up? He's like, do you know how many people have been coming in thinking that they're having a heart attack? So we rush them up, but all they need is a fucking Benadryl. He's like, thank you for knowing your body and knowing what's wrong. Because we're getting people left and left, because none of it is right, coming in with, headache, dizziness, shortness of breath, tight chest, and they're thinking, I'm having a fucking heart attack, when what they need is Zyrtec. So I just sat there with my little nebulizer treatment, just on my phone, just vibing.
Oh my god.
But yeah, you would die here. So,
Yeah.
what is a seme and what is an uke? The short answer is what we in a heteronormative space would refer to as the top and the bottom in a gay relationship. This does, in theory, also apply to lesbians. Lesbians have mixed feelings on it.
Yeah, and I also want to say that I mean, again, I don't know a lot about Yuri, but in the Western sphere, like in Western fandoms, a lot of the attributes of BL or Yaoi has been pushed onto Yuri, although it doesn't have any basis in the Japanese culture. So I think that it's more common to see fans in the West attribute the Uke and Seme tropes onto Yuri, whereas that's not really a thing that the Japanese fans would historically be doing.
Well, and I would argue that the West does that with real gay people anyways.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
I get a lot. Oh my God, the amount of unnecessary questions about well, which one of you is the top? It doesn't matter. We're both verse switches. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, and that doesn't mean something in real life. We're gonna get there. We're jumping the gun. So here's some very, very fun trivia that I will carry with me to my grave. The terms for Seme and Uke actually come from Kendo, Seme meaning to attack, Uke meaning to defend. And that makes me very, very happy. There are some analogous terms that you may have heard or may not have heard before. We also want to say, in this instance, for the very, very blanket answer, The seme comes with his own tropes, mostly meaning that of being dominant, being aggressive, sometimes being charming, and being the
Sometimes
dominance in
being
the.
charming.
They're not all charming.
No,
Just
they
say,
are not.
that is not. That just say I am not going to wave a blanket over every seme and say that they're charming. Most of them are just sociopaths.
With their dicks out.
With their dicks out. And most of the ukes, are soft and submissive and take it. We've listed some analogous terms that we really, really enjoy. We have Neko on here twice, but I love that you added Tachi and I have Inu because cat and dog will always be my favorite.
I've never heard the Inu one, actually.
I've only ever heard Inu.
Where does that originate? Like, where does that come from? Why is it which is which?
So the Neko's usually the submissive.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
And the dog, the Inu's usually the top. And typically it's a situation where, like, the Neko is, like, this very... It's Yashiro and Demeki. That's the best way to describe it. I don't know why I was trying to, like, make up magical metaphors. It's Yashiro and Demeki.
It's been 11 minutes, and here he is. Yeah. Our Lord and Savior.
Our Lord and Savior Yashiro. One's a slut, and the other is just doing his best. Matt and Mello are also where I've seen it a lot, because Matt is just there, and he'll do whatever.
This is true, because he is a dog. But
he's literally a dog. Yeah, so that's where I see it.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense.
Do you want to go into Tachi a little bit?
Yeah, because I think this is something that I feel like is relatively new applied to BL, because I think the Neko and Tachi terms are actually, they come from the real life gay world of Japan, where
the actual gays, not the mythical ones.
So not
and we're gonna talk about fetishization later.
But yeah, because I feel like, we will get into it, but Seme and Uke obviously are tropes that apply to fictional characters and to BL specifically, and it doesn't transfer to real life people. But within the gay community,
that did not stop us from trying in the 2000s.
No, really. I mean, I have the color to prove it, clearly. But but the so in Japanese slang, you typically have Neko being the bottom and Tachi being the top or the dominant. But again, because real people are versatile and real people are three-dimensional and not tropes, it doesn't have to be exclusive, and not everyone uses it. But it's interesting because I have seen it more often in actual BL. Like, for instance, you see it in the Yarichin Bitch Club. They actually use these terms. And I think that that's interesting that they've started to take on real-life slang.
Absolutely. And I think another point that we'll get to is I think a lot of that is because of the heat and backlash that Seme and Uke have received in the past few years. But once more, we're jumping the gun. Analogous terms that you may see in varying levels of success are pitcher and catcher, top and bottom, and one that I have only exclusively heard in American gay clubs, which I hate, is pole and hole. If you ever refer to your partner as a pole or a hole, I would like to know what you're doing.
That is horrible. I have heard it.
I've heard it.
But, like, yeah. Can you imagine?
Please, because there's no way to even make that cute.
No.
Like, even in, like, a BDSM scenario, am I ever referring to someone as a hole?
And like, I am, and you know this because you have called me out on this so many times. I am such an AichiYume apologist, but not even AichiYume could make the word hole sound charming. Like, when he calls Shuichi a glory hole, I'm like,
hasn't he called Suichi a cock sleeve at least once? Yeah,
but, like, he literally calls him a glory hole.
He does.
And I'm like, why? That's not cute.
I think it's cute.
It isn't. You literally just said.
Okay, but for AichiYume, if he wants to call me Daddy's little glory hole, I'm here for it.
Oh my god.
New sticker coming to the shop later.
Oh god.
If AichiYume wants to call me Daddy's little glory hole, sign me the fuck up. Let's go.
I mean, honestly, I love him so much. Let him do whatever he wants.
You know what? I'm kidding. That is exactly how Toma would call. I'm pretty sure he looked in his phone. It's not AichiYume, it's hole.
I am leaving my body. It's just a cat.
You know what? I'm lying. In that polyamorous triad of Tatsuha, Eri, and Soma, that is exactly how he has them labeled in his phone.
Don't you think I'm suffering enough over here? Like, I can't freaking breathe, and you're just like,
suffering.
I'm hurting! What the hell?
That is absolutely... You know what? No, I'm lying. In Toma Seikuchi's phone, Tatsuha is absolutely listed as pole, and Eri's absolutely listed as whole. That is how it is.
I hate it here. I hate it.
I don't care if Maki Murakami calls me tomorrow to say that I'm wrong. I know I'm not.
If she called you, you would ask her if she could design the sticker. Like, can you draw...
Well, honestly, no, I'd be afraid. I'd be afraid of how, like, in 24 hours, she tracked me down.
Okay, I'll ask her.
Okay, thank you. It's like, firstly, I would be terrified, and then, yes, I'd be like, this sign of horrible person that I did. But, basically,
yeah.
Yes.
I think Pitcher and Catcher, like, I've seen those a lot, and also in Western pop culture, but I think that they are, they're particularly...
heteronormative?
Yeah, but I think that they're particularly interesting because there is nothing gayer than sports anime. And then you'll have, like, these poor characters just trying to exist in, Ofuri or whatever. And you're just like, no, you were doomed from the beginning because you're the pitcher and you're the catcher. And unfortunately, you really suit the roles. So.
Well, I used to play softball.
No.
Yeah, I did. And I love that that's the shocking sport. I used to play softball. And pitchers are shockingly useless.
I know nothing. Like, we don't have either, so.
So, except for the only time a pitcher is useful is when they can make a bird explode. That is my favorite part.
I'm sorry, what? Is this an analogy, or are you just like...
No! Like, sometimes when you're playing baseball, the average baseball can go anywhere between 75 to 100 miles per hour. Like, a good baseball is going, on average, about 80 to 90 miles per hour. So sometimes you'll get a bird strike. Like, a bird will come down as the ball is being thrown, and they'll just poof.
I hate it.
That has happened a few times on American television.
Oh my god.
You get this great wind-up for a throw, and then, like, a pigeon tries to fly, and then just feathers.
That is horrendous.
Because that ball is going like 80 to 90 miles an hour. I did slow pitch, so the balls for me were going no faster than about 45 miles an hour. Which is still the speed you drive in the city in a car.
Yeah.
And catchers do a lot of work. That's a lot of time on your knees. Being a catcher is really hard.
I'm fine. I'm sure. They usually are. No, but I mean, the analogy is perfect in many ways, and balls everywhere. It's great.
But yeah, I used to play softball, and I was pretty good at it.
Yay!
But
we don't have it here. We have something that is kind of like a knockoff version, and I am horrible at it.
I'm trying to Google what a Norwegian sport is. I spelled Norwegian wrong.
Well, that's a great start.
Skiing. Handball. What is handball?
You don't know what handball is?
What the fuck is handball?
It's like, I don't know. You're asking the wrong person. I only know about figure skating. I know nothing. I hate sports.
Handball
they throw a ball, okay?
Which 2 teams of 7 players each pass a ball using their hands with the aim of throwing it into the goal of the other team.
Yeah, it's like soccer, but with your hands.
It's Quidditch.
And it has all the lesbians.
I can tell.
Like I can
tell.
Yeah, the absolute sexiest woman in Norway was a handball player. Like this, she's the Shane of Norway. It's like, you know, if you know the L word, it's like heterosexual women, gay women, everyone loves this woman. Yes. I'm
So
sorry.
I'm on the official Visit Norway website.
Okay.
Under the sports category, it says blood, sweat, and cheers.
That's okay.
Let's see.
Interesting.
So apparently everyone likes cycling and cross-country skiing. That sounds very Norwegian.
I hate both, but okay.
That
Yeah, we
sounds-
have all the skiing.
That sounds incessantly Norwegian.
Also, we have roller skis, and I'm sure that like no one outside of Norway has ever seen anyone roller ski. But you know, that's what the skiers
There's a
do
lot
in the
of
summer.
running.
Yeah.
There's a lot of running and cycling.
And soccer. Or
Yeah,
you know, as we
okay.
call it, football.
Yeah, football is the #1 sport in Norway, according to Norway.
We're really bad at it though. Like I say we as if I even know the rules, but like I don't know.
Apparently, the world's oldest museum specializing in skiing is in Norway. Again,
Shocked.
things that do not shock me at
I am
all.
absolutely shocked.
Do you want to go into a very, very quick history lesson about these terms and some of their attributes? And-
I'm gonna try. I was gonna rehearse this so it actually made sense, but I mean, time fucked us over today, so I didn't do that.
oh yeah, you guys missed where we were completely fucked over by the entire concept of time. Where I messaged Carola being like, "Hey, it's showtime," and she's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" Because daylight savings doesn't exist for you guys for another
2
like
weeks.
14 days. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I messaged Carola being like, "Hey, it's go time," and she looks at me like, "The fuck you talking about, bitch?"
And I was literally outside. I was like, but it's not like there's an hour and a half until go. What the hell is? What are
And I'm
you doing?
just like blankly staring at my clock, being like, "But it's now."
And I'm like, and then you're like, it's always 10 a.m. my time. I'm like, I know, which
But it's
is
not
5
10 a.m.
5 p.m. my time, but it's 4. And
Okay, so I went to the Visit Norway website, and there's a man naked doing like a Y pose under a waterfall. And he has the most aggressive farmer's tan of just his shorts and upper thighs.
sounds
Like,
legit.
it's two different skin tones of person. I can see this man's ass crack, save for the fur that protects me from his balls.
And this is
Norway! What the fuck?
this is supposed to lure you to come to our country. I don't know.
I'm concerned about this strange albino man who's carrying around the trunk of another human being because those two shades of white normally are not congruent.
Well, you know.
Do I? I don't think I know anything
We
anymore.
don't have daylight for 10 months out of the year. We're practically
Why is he
transparent.
standing naked under the sparsest of like waterfalls. I don't know what this is supposed to be.
I don't know either because, like, I feel like this isn't something that most Norwegians usually do. But
Oh, thank God.
but what do I know? Like, I
I
don't like nature.
No, I'm derailing the entire ass podcast for this. Hold on. You need to check your Discord really fast. I am derailing the entire
Okay.
fucking podcast for this man.
For the
Hold the-
naked man.
Yeah, hold the fuck on. Sorry, listeners. I cannot continue without explanation of this.
Okay,
Please
that is
elaborate on what pagan ritual is going on in this image.
you can't even fucking see the waterfall.
He's
Okay,
under
that's-
the thinnest dribble of water.
I can't. I'm sorry. I can't help you. I don't
With
know
his
what this is.
watch on.
You have to share this in
His
the
bare
Yaoi Shelf Discord.
ass. You can see his ass crack. But he's like two different shades of white man.
Yeah, because
What?
That,
What is this?
the paler shade is how we look in winter, or like
Oh God,
that's how we really look. And then
that's your true self.
if you're actually outdoors in the
Yes,
summer, I guess
yes.
that's you
I
might
will.
look
You know
like.
what? I will post this as a Patreon exclusive. Sorry, guys. I have to monetize this one. You don't get to see this one for free. This
Um,
is.
okay.
This is. Please continue on to history as I cope with why Norway is trying to seduce me with this white man's ass.
Dear Visit Norway, please do not take legal action for us monetizing the hideous
You know what?
naked man.
Actually, send me to Norway so I can take better photos of your country that still looks like a dick.
This is true.
Your country
Okay.
is dick shaped.
Yeah, but
Also,
so is Sweden.
Typically, Norwegian has a bunch of people in traditional garb in a field. Is
Yeah,
that typical?
yeah.
Okay.
I'll send you a picture of me in traditional garb later.
Yes. Okay. Now go into history.
I'm
as
gonna
I,
try. I'm gonna try. I'm trying
I
to
believe
breathe. Okay,
I believe you.
let me just get the outline open. Okay, so sorry about the cultural lesson. Let's have a history lesson.
Yes.
So we're gonna go deeper into because all of this is this is typical. History is not linear, and neither is BL. So there's going to be a lot of back and forth and cross referencing here. But basically, we previously mentioned briefly the whole the heteronormativity, that the straight gaze on the gaze. The straight gaze on the gaze, okay, and how and how which one is the woman in the relationship. And I think that it's easy to just assume, especially these days with you know we've been over this 10,000 times, the straight women fetishizing the gays, and again jumping the gun here, but that's
Yep. Sure
yeah.
are.
That's the idea that many people have when we talk about the Seme and Uke tropes, but it's actually a lot more complex than that. And BL, just like very brief, I'm not gonna talk about this for an hour, even though God knows I could. BL does have roots in cultural movements and in the feminist movement of the Japanese society in the late 60s and early 70s, and within that also the reclamation of the female sexuality and how that can be not repressed. It is repressed, and how it can be expressed through male characters, as there are no female characters to challenge the idea of what a woman is. However, what I think is really interesting is that the Seme Uke trope is a lot more than just that. It isn't as simple as saying that you are putting heterosexual tropes or heterosexual traits into a gay relationship and saying that the Seme is the masculine man and the Uke is the feminine woman of the relationship, because it isn't. It's about subverting and expressing gender traits and gender itself. And so I was looking at some articles earlier, and there's this Japanese scholar called Nakakubo Yoko who refers to this as prescribed characteristics of both sexes, which means that within Uke Seme we see the possibilities of gender that isn't restrained by both of them being men or one of them supposedly being feminine, but it's actually within. It's what each character brings to the table in the dynamic of the relationship. So in Japanese, kapperingu, in English, ship. So the couple themselves determines the attributes that the role takes on. And we will talk more about the types of Uke and Seme later on. But these types typically come from the relationship between the characters, where do the characters stand in society, what are their personalities, what are their physical traits. Like there's all of this stuff that goes into this. And so if you look at BL, like Watanabe Yumiko says, if you look, I think it's Watanabe Yumiko, if not it's Fujimoto Yukari who is referencing Watanabe, but if you look at BL, they say, as an all-male world, because typically there aren't a lot of females in BL, and BL is fiction. So look at it as a utopia where everyone is a male and everyone is gay, then within this world you are encompassing all gender factors and all the power dynamics at the will of the creator. So, yes, this character is a souke, someone who's always on the bottom, but the way that he is the uke is determined by his relationship to the seme, by the dynamics that each character brings into the relationship. So it's more about challenging gender than establishing gender norms, basically.
Okay, so I love that. Because I think from the Western perspective, we mostly see it as dogma, and we'll talk about how Fujin took these terms and ran with it. We saw these terms as dogma to ascribe, not traits to assign. And I also want to comment on the fact that while this, in theory, should be, as researchers have said, an expression for possibilities of gender, most people don't see it that way, and we defer to the misogynistic, heteronormative, patriarchal bullshit that means that the uke is the woman and thus is basically abused and done violence onto, and the seme as dominant is everything toxic and terrible about masculinity.
Yeah.
And those are, as mentioned, patriarchal, misogynistic, culturally inaccurate, and just not how love works. Like, that's just so. This is my way of analogizing it. There's one of the things that I've always wanted to do is I wanted to be a fancy pigeon breeder.
Of course.
Shut up. And there's this lady who breeds fancy pigeons, and there's this one picture that she took of one of her male pigeons gazing up at his wife, and she's like 2 times his size, just like puffed up and angry, ready to fight. And it's like, this is the ideal relationship, is just tiny adoring husband and large angry wife. And like, we're used to a very heteronormative way of looking at, and I say I've been saying heteronormative over and over and over again. Basically what we mean when we say that is that when we look at a gay relationship, a queer relationship, we are expecting it to still line up with what we know as the sexual and gender expressions of man and woman, male and female.
I love that you say we, as if we are heterosexuals.
We as in society.
Yeah.
Not we as in two fucking states. We as in society, not us.
Yeah. I'm not part of society.
Yeah, I'm also that we do live in a society.
Yeah, we do.
But
that's true.
But basically, society looks at those relationships and is like, okay, well, one of you has to be the man and one of you has to be the woman. That's actually said explicitly a lot.
Yeah.
At gay relationships, at people. I have heard that said at gay people.
I've had that said to me. So
yeah, I've had it said to me. Like, well, which one of you is the woman? It's like,
I mean,
first of all, rude.
Yes.
Rude. Firstly, like, let's go into the first part of that, which is rude.
Yeah.
Second of all, it's none of your business. Third of all, that's not how this works. It's not as simple as that. And even if it is, yes.
I think that's very interesting. Like, why don't you come up to me and my girlfriend, who are both clearly female and openly identifying as women, and ask us which one of us is the man? I feel you just answer. What are you? That's not a question. There's no man. That's the point. I'm fine. I'm just, and it's the less rude version of the I just want to know who does what in bed, and it's like, why are you asking about my sex life?
Like, that's what I keep saying about, like, it's rude.
Yeah.
Rude. Like, it's none of your business. It's so, I don't understand why we wouldn't do that to a straight couple and just go, oh my God, do you peg him?
Yeah, I know. I was about to say, like,
do that. Like, I can't imagine going up to, like, a random straight couple and be like, oh my God, do you fuck her vagina? No, we don't do that to anyone else, but it's totally okay to, like, apropos of nothing, in public, at work, ask, well, which one of you takes it? Ah!
what the hell was that? No, but yeah, no. Which one of us takes it? I personally can't take anymore. Please stop asking, you know, like.
Right, and it's like, that's such a linear, boring view of sex.
Yeah. And it's like, I was literally saying this earlier. I mean, I love this. It's the Yaoi Shelf. We keep reverting into how female bodies work, but, you know, how...
If ukes keep having self-lubricating assholes, how else are we supposed to think about them?
This is true. But
Fun fact, the asshole does not self-lubricate. Jesus Christ, use lube.
But it's okay, because we are in the utopian BL world where a lot of things...
women, which I was not going to touch.
No, you know, one of my favorite... Actually, no, it isn't. But one of my favorite what the fuck things about BL... Have you seen these manga panels where the organs are literally rearranging themselves to make room? I'm like...
Yes. It's one of those, like...
Not how like the body works.
Where, like, you write out a sentence and you think it's really hot, and then you think about it for 5 seconds, and it's like, that's awful.
Yeah, or you know, when you're like in the groove and you're like writing, and then you go back and you look at it, and you're like,
this is a crime.
This also is physically impossible, because I don't understand how where.
So I actually just committed that. It was Matt and Mello, because of course it was. And Mello had said to Matt, I still feel like I'm molded to your shape, like molded to the shape of his dick. And it's like, that's not how asses work. That's not how bodies work. What do you mean, sir? Sir!
No!
Sir! Just like,
but it's okay, because it's just, you know, it's just a way of expressing that, you know, his brain was... Wait. I was distracted because my goddamn cat... No, I was trying to say that, you know, he basically fucked his brain out, and now he doesn't know how anything works anymore. It makes sense, if you're Matt. No, wait, because it was Mellow. But he's an... Yeah, I don't even know. Leave me alone. I don't have enough oxygen flow to my brain right now. I have no idea what I'm saying.
Also, I promise you, if you look at Mello's phone, Matt is listed as Pole.
Yeah. That is, unfortunately, I can actually see that. Oh no, that is so sad!
I think it's probably the same for Yashiro and Demeki.
I feel like because Matt really, really, really loves Mello, like, it probably says something like, you know, I don't want to say like love of my life, but it's probably something cute. And then he's
like 3 hearts and stuff like that.
Yeah, like, and then he's listed as fucking Pole. No.
I think that's the worst dynamic, is when it's one-sided.
Oh no!
Like, this is the love of my life.
Which again,
sweet precious meow meow, and then it's like.
Which, by the way, again, is like 100% Yuki and Shuichi. It's like Shuichi's like, my beloved Yuki with 10,000 hearts, and it's like, whole boy is calling. I can't. What are you
doing? Enjoying every minute of it. So we mentioned, if either of us can get ourselves together, we mentioned tropes.
This is absolutely, you're actually right. Pole and hole is the absolute worst one. This is horrible.
and Hole is the
God.
most worst.
Shameless self-promo. Like,
Yeah.
this is us when we're somewhat collected. Join us on Patreon, where
And Carola wanted to say, let's record them both back to back. And I said, no, let's record next week. Because
no, clearly, this would be great. 5 hours of this.
I think by the time we got to the Patreon episode, there wouldn't be any content. It would just be like breathy laughter. We'd just be like staring at each other and then remembering Pole and Hole and just we'd start laughing.
ASMR, your hosts laughing.
Your
no,
hosts
he's
laughing, but like, because they're fucking idiots. Sansa, thank you. He's like, you guys aren't working. It's like, you guys aren't doing your jobs.
He wanted to be a part of it because he felt like something exciting was happening. So now he's like, "Hello, I have arrived."
He's graced us with his presence. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Oh my God! Look at the camera.
At the camera.
I wanted him. Oh, okay, fine. Face. Thank you.
Pissed him off.
So we talked about tropes. So we probably need to elaborate. You guys ready to go back in time to 2002 to 2007?
No.
Which was 20 years ago?
Shut up! Oh my God! Okay.
Are you okay?
No!
Which was 20 years ago?
Oh my God! It doesn't matter how many times you say this because I will always be like...
1999 was 10 years ago?
What the yeah, like 30 years ago. You mean 1970?
Yeah.
Like,
seriously. So I felt bad for the millennials turning 30. I feel even worse for the 80s kids turning like 40. I feel way worse for them. When millennials turn 40, though, the world will already be over, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, yeah, we're getting there. Like,
the world will already be over. So
it's going great over here. Like,
yeah, looks like it's going excellent. Also, I saw BuzzFeed had the audacity to write an article saying stop sexualizing the Ukrainian president Zelensky, and I said it. This is how I cope by wanting to climb that man like a tree. You leave me alone. Zaddy Zelensky is getting me through this whole thing right now, and if I want to bear hug that man's front, you leave me alone.
I think this is very interesting. What if this was like, can we use this for something? Because you have Putin over there being like, oh, look at me, shirtless on my horse, trying to be sexy, and it's like, and Zelensky's over there like, hello, I am a man of my people. Yes, that's how.
Yeah, so actually, Putin has been ramping up his social media because everyone's been sexualizing Zelensky. But, like, Zelensky's the guy who can actually punch a bear in the face, and Putin's the guy that has a bear that's drugged and knocked out, and he's, like, standing awkwardly next to it.
But what if we could use Zelensky's possible sex appeal to get human rights in Russia?
That would mean that we'd have to murder Putin. We're not getting human rights until he's dead.
Yeah, this is true.
So I'm going to keep sexualizing Zelensky. Okay, thanks.
I literally just found out, like my grandma found out. We were sitting here, she Googled it. Gorbachev is still alive. He's 91. Oh, and I'm like, Gorby, save us. Do something. Come back.
He's 91.
I mean, what does he have left to lose? Just come in and save us. Like, dude, you've done it before.
Know he was still alive.
No, I thought he was dead. And my grandma was like, no, I Googled it. He's alive. I'm like, what?
What is he doing? Is he just like vibing?
I don't know. I don't think he's vibing. My grandma was like, he's probably really pissed off. Because,
I'm gonna
tore
Google
down the wall and now...
Gorbachev doing today. That is literally the third search option.
Wow.
Still active, heads the political foundation, co-owns the Kremlin critical newspaper.
Oh
He
my god,
celebrated-
save us!
He celebrated a birthday a while ago. And he received birthday greetings from the Kremlin and other world leaders. He looks the exact same.
I know, right?
Gorbachev, save us, for fuck's sake. Anyways, we're not talking about tropes. So, let's go back to 2004. I'm 14 years old.
I can't do math. I have no idea how old I am, but...
How many years older are you to me? Isn't it 4?
2?
2?
I think it's 2.
What year were you born in?
Do I have to say that on the air? I don't want to talk about that.
No, you don't.
No. I'm old, people. That's...
I just know that you're older than me. We're in high school.
Yeah, and I don't have internet at home.
I do have internet at home.
Wow, look at you.
I know. It was for homework.
Uh-huh.
It was for homework.
Uh-huh.
Carola,
All those steamy fanfic essays that were totally schoolwork that you were working on the internet.
Homework.
Uh-huh.
I still have one saved on a CD disc.
Wow.
So, do you remember the famous quiz?
Which one? There
The
were so many.
most famous Seme Uke quiz. The original, the OG. At semeuke.com.
I honestly don't know. I remember a lot of quizzes. I don't know if that's the one. I probably do.
So this is the one that I've always known as the semeuke.com one. This was the one that informed so much of me and my writing and how I did things. Where you have the badass uke, the flaming uke, the clueless uke, dramatic uke, innocent uke. You have the chibi seme, opportunistic seme, romantic seme, sadistic seme, and don't fuck with me seme.
I think that these are, it's so funny in retrospect because this clearly is, probably an American site.
It is.
And yeah, and while a lot of these do correspond to archetypes within the ukeseme world, they also are made up. Like, a lot of these aren't actual types.
No, they're not. But I fucking swear that when I tested and I got the one that fits me, it felt like being placed in the right
Yeah.
Hogwarts house.
Yeah, I know. Absolutely.
Like, so, out of those types, which one do you think I ended up falling under?
Out of those, I mean, clearly, wait, did you... I'm trying to play them back in my mind. You're clearly on the Seme side.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
But which one? I mean, clearly I forgot half of them already, so it's like...
So there's chibi, opportunistic, romantic, sadistic, and don't fuck with me.
Oh. Are you don't fuck with me?
No.
You're not?
No. Offended. Opportunistic.
Yeah, I wanted to say opportunistic, but then I was like, no, but, don't fuck with me.
I switched between romantic and opportunistic, but most times I got opportunistic.
Yeah.
Ironically, both of them are attributed to the Japanese element of water, which my zodiac sign is. But I waffled between opportunistic and romantic, but both basically are like charming and will go very far out of their way for their partners and caring. Opportunistic is a little bit more like, they're doing it just to get laid.
Yeah.
While romantic is doing it because they genuinely love and care for their partners. So I usually sat somewhere in between those two, where, yes, I am a charming motherfucker, but also I do more so for my partners.
Yeah.
So I almost consistently always tested opportunistic or romantic. And I took that so much to heart. When you talk about things that influence your personality, this is the Hogwarts house for Fujos.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
entire relationships have been made and broken based on this. Friendships have been made and broken based on this. This is literally, this is, it's almost like, I'm not trying to make fun of a serious issue, but it's like a caste system thing that certain groups did not interact. Shameless plug, but I'm streaming with Anime Fest right now, and we're playing Hatoful Boyfriend.
More pigeons.
Really like pigeons.
Yeah, no, we're gonna go. I think we're gonna go a lot deeper into that in the Patreon episode.
Yes.
So I don't want to talk too much about it.
I
But
don't either, because we're gonna go deep into Patreon. So if you aren't subscribed to our Patreon yet, that's what's coming up in a week
yeah,
or so.
we're gonna yeah. But I just I remember taking and again, like I have to phrase this in a way that I don't give away too much because I have to save some of this for Patreon. But yeah, no, but for me too, like it was also a source of like almost like an identity crisis, because if you got the wrong answer, like if you got an answer that you didn't identify with, it was like, who am I?
Like I keep analogizing it to Harry Potter. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's the only way I can think about it. Like there was one time, so like I'm a Slytherin. That should be a shock to
Same.
no one. I'm
No
so
one
glad
was shocked.
Slytherin.
But
I'm a little
like I literally
I'm a
like
little shocked.
I literally didn't take the Pottermore quiz for so long because I was terrified that I, for once in my life, would not end up in Slytherin. I was like, I have ended up in Slytherin on everything. What if the Pottermore, like the official one, puts me somewhere else? Like, what do I do?
So like I took a BuzzFeed quiz, which like obviously isn't Pottermore, and they put me in Hufflepuff, and I was like, so I said I would rather be called a slur than a Hufflepuff. I was upset.
Oh no! I
It's
love
like,
Hufflepuffs, but yeah,
I mean,
no.
yeah, every Slytherin has a Hufflepuff pet, and we love them.
I would be perfectly content being in Ravenclaw. Like it would make sense.
That's
but-
honestly where I thought you would be. I did not. Now I can see it because you're a devious little gremlin.
Yeah.
But
I also hate people.
that might be why I have some bias because I don't see that.
No, because I like you.
Fellow Slytherin. Yeah. So like I don't see that side of you. So I was like, oh yeah, she's a Ravenclaw. That's fine. And then you said it. I'm like, I can see now to other people.
Yeah, and I think that it's more like, because they have those when they mix the houses. I think that I am probably very close to like
A Slytherclaw.
Slytherclaw. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
So,
it's the
in the
same
words-
thing.
In the words of my friend Amber, she said, I don't get to see that side of you because I'm your friend, but I would never want to be your enemy. And that is like that is the best way to describe a Slytherin, is that if you're friends, you're never going to see a lot of those bad aspects. If I don't like you, I'm sorry. It's not good for anyone. Dishonor on you, dishonor on your cow, dishonor on your entire family. But it was really that deterministic back in the day. And we're definitely going to go deeper into this in Patreon, so I'm going to stop there. But we needed to bring up the quiz, and we needed to bring up the fact that this was fundamental and foundational. Lots of gesturing today. The Italian podcast. The Italian podcast today. Now, there's another cool thing about convergent evolution and how things go along. When we mention Seme and or Uke, I can almost promise you a very similar archetype will coalesce in all of your imaginations. Carola, what does your standard Seme look like?
Oh. Okay, so he is he is tall.
He is.
He can be on the buffer side. He doesn't have to be because he might be super bishonen,
Yes.
but he will be buffer than Uke, I'll tell you that.
The Uke who has a woman's body.
He, particularly if he came out of the 80s, early 90s, he is wearing a coat with shoulder pads. And he works as like a CEO or something. He's like, he's an important
He is the one with a job.
Yeah, he is an important dude. He does not have time for your BS.
No.
He has a bit of a power harassment fetish, probably.
Almost always has dark hair and dark eyes.
Yeah, unless he's
Almost
blonde.
Unless he's Aryan.
blonde.
Unless he's Aryan.
When you said that, my brain didn't. Do you understand? It didn't process Aryan as Aryan. It processed it as Adian, as in AichiYume, who is now apparently.
Fascist propaganda.
That's not what I meant. He's apparently a character type, and he's.
Yes, he is. I built my whole gender around him.
Yeah, you have problems, but but it's okay because I love AichiYume, so that's a huge compliment to you. Like,
I built my gender around him. You have problems.
Okay, I'm sorry.
You can tell by everything that I'm not a well-adjusted human.
I mean, I could call you out for the gin thing in the background, but like...
Let the fun be gin? It says let the fun be gin.
Yeah.
I got it at Target.
I majored in English Lit, and let me tell you that gin was not a fun time in Victorian England.
But I love it. I have like 4 bottles. I'm not a high-functioning alcoholic. Look at... I can totally hold this water bottle normally.
That's because that is the obscene water bottle, which, by the way, kudos to you on that sticker design.
Thank you. That'll go up in the shop later on today. But yeah, he's usually dark-haired unless he looks Aryan. He usually has a job, typically. It's typically a more important job, or it's like a cool made-up job, like romance writer who makes money while they're alive.
And he usually has kind of like a, if not a bad personality...
He's unapproachable.
He's unapproachable, and he's stoic.
He usually has so much trauma, just burdened with trauma.
Which he will never admit to.
No. He has a car, which means
a huge car.
He usually has so much money.
And he has, like, I love this. He has, like, a luxury apartment or mansion or something, which has, like, ridiculously huge empty rooms. There's nothing. There's just floor. There's so much floor, and then a huge fucking yaoi bed in the middle of the room.
Yeah. Like, no lamps or anything else.
No. And then, of course,
there's like a dramatic balcony with a sliding door.
And one wall that is all panoramic window.
Yeah. Sometimes there will be a piano that he can't play.
Yeah, the aesthetic.
Sometimes there will be a piano that he can't play.
But that's okay, because that's when the wounded, beautiful Uke will play chopsticks.
He knows 3 bars of fur elite. Why do they all have pianos? None of them can fucking play. They have these meticulously designed rooms.
No.
One, like, $1 million grand piano. There's
one trope where one of them will know how to play the piano, and that is the trope where one of them has amnesia, remembers nothing, but knows how to play the piano.
Like 3 bars of chopsticks makes him remember.
And then he's like, I am Mozart. And he's like,
I remember everything.
Oh my god, I love it. I mean, clearly, this is like, we are in the old days. Like, this is 2004, and these are the manga that we are reading. They all look like this. Yes. All of them.
Okay, we say this because what we mean is the Seme usually has financial, social, economic, and physical power over the Uke. He's also usually older. He's almost always older than the Uke. Sometimes questionably older. Looking at you, AichiYume.
And but they have a 2-year age gap.
It was originally in notes supposed to be much more significant.
In any case, I also like that sometimes, but this might just be the era because like if you look at teenagers in the 80s, like they look so old. Like they look so grown up, but I feel like sometimes the Seme isn't all that old. Like he's in his 20s. He looks 40.
Well, I had that with Matt and Mello not too long ago. I forgot how old they are. Like they're not necessarily grown ass men.
No, I guess I think they're pretty young, but there's a time skip in there somewhere, which is where I'm confused because like.
But I remember like I don't remember the exact age. I just remember them being not as old as everyone thought.
I am the type who will always age characters down, or at least I used to, because
I have to go get How to Read Volume 13.
Maybe.
Okay.
Or you can Google it.
No, hold on. I'll be right back. Carola, go get the cat. Hold on.
Get the cat.
Woo!
The cat's in the shark. No, I was saying, of course now I'm on the left, but I'll keep talking, but I keep
That's it, Tot.
What?
Yeah.
Did you find it?
Got some full body Amanda.
Did you find it? Okay. Yeah, I was just saying to the listeners that what I mean when I say that
Why did you immediately open the Mellow?
Because you're psychic. No, I typically, when I say that I used to always age characters down is because obviously when I was 14, 15, 16, I could relate to 25-year-olds. So I would typically, prefer teenage storylines. And so I always, if someone looked like they were a teenager, I would be like, they're fucking 17.
Where the fuck is Matt?
He's probably not in it.
No, he's in it. Where's Matt?
I know I own this. I just haven't
Where
actually read it.
No! Where is his... He has a whole ass husband. Where the fuck is Matt?
I'm Googling Matt. Let's see who finds it first.
No, hold on. Determination. If he... There is no way that Misa is more... Okay, well, Mello comes before Nier, and that's all that matters. Okay, when does the series take place? What is the current year of the series? It's like 2000 something, right?
Yeah, according to according to Google over here, it's the final arc is 2010 in the manga and 2013 in the anime. That sounds
off.
Yeah, that does sound off. When the hell did...
But, so let's run with that. Do you want to just say 2010?
Yeah, it does say... It says Matt's born... In the manga, Matt's born in 1990.
But Mello's born in 89.
Ooh.
Okay, so they're in their 20s when this basically happens. These poor children.
I feel like they're... Because if Matt's 19, it says Matt's 19 when he... I don't want to say...
So then Mello's 21.
In denial. Yeah.
He's not in denial. Oh my god.
I'm in denial.
All of us are in denial.
Yeah.
I don't know. So How to Read Volume 13. Matt is not in here. What the actual shit? How did they ignore Mello's actual husband?
And one of the most popular characters of the series, like I can't get over the fact that he's in like 8 manga panels and he's like top 10, top 5 popular.
He's on page 27 with Watari. Hold on.
Why is he okay?
Why doesn't he get his own page? He deserves his own page.
He does deserve his own page. My perfect boy.
Oh, he's 5'5". That's so cute. And his dislikes include going outside. That is very accurate.
I love him so much. Yes.
That is. And of course, the dreaded existence and knowledge that Mello is 1 inch taller than Matt. But yeah, that's How to Read Volume 13, still with its intact L card that I have not opened in this copy.
Of course
this
not.
This is my research copy.
You're not a monster.
I have the card in other copies. We're not talking about Boys Love. Hi, I hope you guys enjoyed that research interlude. Research interludes, they are important. So, do you want to go into what the Uke looks like?
Yeah.
He has colorful hair.
Yeah, and he has huge eyes.
80% eyes.
Yeah, he has huge girly in quotation
70
marks.
70 to 80% eyes.
Usually,
he is short.
yeah, and usually they're in some color that is like they're blue or they're purple or they're green, like some sort of
unnatural.
Yeah, and small, incredibly frail.
Yes.
Soft. Soft. He is innocent, naive,
to a fault,
upbeat and excitable,
a virgin.
Yes, always.
Until he meets Seme.
Yep, and he has never had a sexual reaction. He doesn't have a sexual bone in his body until he meets the Seme, because he will always inevitably go, I feel weird.
Sorry.
I know though, like, are you trying to tell me, and again, I have said this before, what is it with BL, and I say this as someone who is a slut for first times. I love it when characters have their first times together, don't get me wrong, but what is it with BL and shoujo having these characters who are actual fucking adults with jobs and, you know, who are functional, and then it's like they have never kissed anyone, they have never had a feeling, they've never masturbated, they are just like I'm like, are you, I mean, I know that these people exist, but literally everyone,
we normally call them asexuals.
Yeah, but you're not an asexual if, I mean, I'm not an asexual, disclaimer, so I'm not going to say how asexuals are, but I'm just saying, there's a difference between being an actual asexual out in the world and being someone who's apparently asexual, but then the Seme appears, and then all of a sudden
they're very sexual.
Yeah, I
guess that's technically demisexual, but whatever. Oh, I just noticed Mello has his own wiki for Death Note. He has his own page.
Yeah, but Matt actually does too.
On Wikipedia?
On maybe it's the Death Note wiki, the fan wiki.
Oh no, this is like actual Wikipedia. Mello gets his own page. I'm so proud of him.
But yeah, the archetypes.
So when we say this, we mean that the Uke is in a less dominant position, economically, socially, physically, and you may be thinking to yourselves, intrepid listener, that doesn't sound very balanced and healthy, my gamer. To which, that'd be very poggers of you. You are correct.
Why are you using these words? It's too late. We're old. You're not. Our audience is our age. They don't understand what you're saying. I don't understand what you're saying.
No.
I have a friend who is 19.
The three people that do understand. It'll be so worth it for them to say touch grass, Grandma.
Don't pull me down with you. I have asked my friend.
You will go down with this ship.
My 19-year-old friend. I've asked him multiple times, what does poggers mean? Stop saying it to me. I don't understand it. Leave me alone.
You asked him what it means.
I have asked him 3 times. I keep forgetting. I'm old. I don't get it.
So, why is this less than ideal? Aside from all the aforementioned reasons.
Apart from, well, yeah. Everything.
If that was a real relationship where one partner had all the dominant power and the other didn't, you would call that a problematic. It's just not a great circumstance because the partners aren't equally yoked. One has substantially more to lose while the other has substantially more to gain. Usually the Seme gets a lot more out of the relationship than the Uke gets, and the Uke gives up everything. Fun fact, it is one of the biggest issues I have with the reform slut boyfriend and virgin partner. It's actually why Victor Yuri turns me off so much in Yuri on Ice.
Listen, I know we talked about this before, but yeah, interesting take.
Doesn't sound like you value my opinion very
No,
much.
I don't see. I don't know because it's like I haven't really thought that deep about Vic Duty, to be honest. Like I
Yes.
obviously clearly love them. I just don't have a lot of opinions on them.
That's fine. But
Because
like that was something that super initially turned me off. Yes.
my heart obviously was stolen by the angry little Russian kid. So I was busy obsessing about Yu-Gi-Oh, okay? And so it took me a while.
I was busy obsessing over what an absolute monster Victor must have been when he was younger.
I just don't. I don't know. It might be the figure skating nerd in me, actually, that is just like, I just didn't have the time to, or I didn't take the time to consider the possibility of Victor having been a slut because he's a figure skater, and I was like, when would he have time for that? I mean, because as a skating nerd, they don't
then
do.
With my absolute lack of knowledge about figure skating, I'm over here like, how far them legs spread, boy?
I mean, there are multiple reasons to watch figure skating. Not gonna lie, I'm not gonna
Like,
lie.
give my absolute zero knowledge in figure skating, like, yeah!
Also, I was, not to reel off topic, but while we're on it, like up until recently, I will say, I didn't really have a lot of thoughts like that about the skaters because again, all of my favorite skaters are just like, I don't have a life, I just skate. And then I happened to see on Twitter from, and I'm not gonna say his name, but a mutual of mine on Twitter had talked about how a famous skater from their country had said recently in an interview that he had in fact done the deed at a rink, and everyone was like, one, I am not surprised because it's you. Two, what rink, pray tell? And I'm like, so now with that coming into light, there are a lot of interesting thoughts for Miss
What
Judy.
Victor agenda?
Yeah. But again, like I said, I also the only Yuri on Ice fanfic that I can remember having read was the one where Yuri was the slut. So I'm a little.
That's fair.
Like yeah. Let us not ignore the fact that Chris is the biggest slut in that entire series because.
Let's not ignore that. I'm pretty sure Yorio has absolutely had sex
With Otabek.
Yeah, that's absolutely happened.
Yeah.
That's 100% happened.
Please.
Also, another pairing that probably has each other listed as pole and hole.
Oh my god.
Am I wrong?
Okay, but listen, that pairing. I mean, clearly this is in the future, in the modern times, where a lot of these tropes that we've talked about and these traits that we're talking about are a little less predominant. But may I just remind you that this also transfers differently, because if you look at Ota Yuri, you have Yurio, who is nicknamed the Fairy of Russia, blonde, small, being whisked away on a motorbike by Otabek, who is tall, dark, and brooding. It's the same thing, different packaging.
Yeah, he's gonna get a different package, all right. Pole and hole.
But I love them so much. But they wouldn't have made Welcome to the Madness if that wasn't. I mean, I love it so much.
I respect your love of this very mediocre.
From a figure figure skating nerd perspective, please understand how much I love that gala exhibition, okay? Gala is the only thing that keeps me together. And I'm like, yes, this is how you gala.
So we have described why it is a little bit less okay.
Yes.
Why is it actually kind of okay? And we'll talk about this more in the Patreon episode. But for many of us, baby different flavors of queer, we found a decent amount of identity and strength in being able to clarify ourselves as such. Not necessarily in a physical sense, but in a spiritual sense.
Yeah, which is
yes.
why the aforementioned quizzes and everything were so substantial, because it really, you know, it ties into that thing about finding your identity and holding on to that with all your might, especially in a time where, because we were young and
we were,
yeah, and projecting differently than they do today, mind you, but
yes. And many of us were confused.
Yeah.
I was confused.
And and many of us were uninformed and very much, you know, taking our first staggering steps into a world that we didn't fully understand, and where there was even less representation than what we have today, where, you know, you kind of just find something and latch onto it and try to embody that because you're in that weird,
nebulous.
Yeah.
And I'll say this, as much as this methodology and terminology has faded out of existence, a lot of it is still very much upheld. If you hang out in gay spaces in America, there are people that to this day will say, I'm the bottom, so I don't pay for meals.
Which is, you know, we also find this in the heterosexual world, David Attenborough voice, where, you know, some people still think that the men need to hold the door and pay for the meals. And
okay, but real talk, if you do not pay for my meal or hold the door while we're on a date, I am instantly docking off 15 points. I don't care how much date. I don't care how much feminism there is. You are wooing me. And this is a transaction that may or may not end up with sex. You need to pay for that sex with lobster. You need to pay for that hand job in your car.
Romantic. Would you like
3 courses?
A romantic 3-course dinner followed by a hand job in your car?
Yes.
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 Okay.
And you pay for that hand job with at least 2 cocktails, 3 courses, and one of those should either be steak or lobster. Do not ask me if I want just a salad. If you ask me if I want just a salad, I will walk away.
Who the hell wants... I don't even eat salad. Like, excuse me, if I'm going to go out to eat, I'm gonna get actual food.
Did that go over your head?
Yeah. Because I was busy
now
thinking...
I can't explain it.
I know what you meant. Now. I know what you meant, but I was thinking about the steak. I'm sorry.
I was also thinking about the steak.
I'm sure you were. No, but you know, it's... Well, I was going to say something.
My whoring distracted you.
Yes. 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 It did. No, but you know, it's... Dare I say, for the millionth time on this podcast, it is fiction. So, are you lighting the candle?
Yes.
There's like a cloud of smoke like wafting up next to you. Like I could see it on your shirt.
Good. I love it.
That is a very aggressive lighter.
Oh, it's great.
I can hear it. Like it's...
Love it. I have a plasma one in rose gold that uses a little Tesla arc.
You're so fancy.
But yeah,
there's so much smoke. What the hell?
I had Palo Santo burning on one of my streams, and my co-host was like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, what in the witchcraft do you have going on? It's like, I just have Palo Santo burning. But yeah, like, there is definitely, if there was not precedence to this, we wouldn't still use it. And while, yeah, it is rooted in some really gross stuff, actual gay people do still use this as a way to describe each other.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't make it okay, but it can't be that awful if we've co-opted it like that.
Yeah, and again, like, you know, all of this has roots, and it has different roots in the Western fan spaces, in the Japanese fan spaces, and there are rules that are part of fiction. It's kind of like, you know, if you watch the Scream movies, the rules of a horror movie. You know, we all abide by the rules. We all know that if you go, I'll be right back, you won't be back. You'll be dead. You know?
Correct.
And so the same things apply to BL. So even though a lot of these are bad or can be bad or are usually, you know, a lot of these stereotypes and archetypes and tropes have developed and have changed over time and have both better outcomes and worse outcomes. Again, it is part of what makes the genre what it is, which was why I was doing that little history lesson earlier, that it is because it is BL that these tropes exist. And within those tropes, you have a variety, a plethora of explorations and versions and variations, and one size doesn't necessarily fit all, and it isn't necessarily supposed to represent reality, and it isn't necessarily supposed to be attributed to reality. And sometimes, you know, it is okay to just enjoy it for what it is, or criticize the hell out of it. Like, it's fiction, and it's, you know, there's a certain BL literacy that comes with having been in these spaces for so long and applying, you know, and sometimes even choosing what you choose to apply, you know, because sometimes you just want to go along for the ride and just read it. Side note, guess who has ordered the full set of jazz volumes? Because clearly I need it in my life.
Thank you.
Yeah. I realized I didn't actually own them. So I bought them. But yeah, because sometimes you know, you just want to read the thing and not necessarily think about it. And sometimes you want to look at it with critical eyes and be like, okay, this is
But
bad.
I think that, like, those two don't have to be in conflict with each other.
No.
Like, I think, like, we can, like, I think, obviously, you know, mark on your bingo card, we talk about gravitation again. Gravitation has some pretty egregious examples of Seme and Uke law, like, strongly in place. But out of all the things to criticize, that's pretty low on my list.
I will fight to the death, as we all know, about how gravitation is one of the most progressive BL manga out there.
What do you want me to do with Yoshiki?
There are parts of the story that don't fit with that
What do you want me to do with Yoshiki Kitazawa? Where are we putting her?
I don't know. I did dedicate a whole last slide to her in my gravitation panel,
Just
which you
saying,
can find on our Patreon.
I'm
But
just saying,
in
where
general,
do I put this?
in the questionable heap, because she is. I still think that she is a good character, but she's not executed well at all. She is. Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot to be said. But that wasn't necessarily what I was getting at. I was not thinking of Yoshiki Kitazawa, no.
I'm always thinking of Yoshiki Kitazawa.
Yeah, I mean, I understand. I try to not think of the Kitazawas as a rule, because, like...
I'm constantly thinking about Riku Kitazawa. Riku Kitazawa is on my mind from the moment that I wake up to the moment I close my eyes. Because I still want to understand what wormhole we had to dig into to produce, one, a situation where Yuki Kitazawa fucks a woman to completion.
I still don't... Like, there is genuinely a part of me that doesn't think that... I mean, sure, he's a Kitazawa, but there is a part of me that doesn't believe that he is actually Kitazawa Yuki's offspring. Like, there
What
must
reason
be...
does Yoshiki, that shameless whore, have to lie about a child?
I don't... That's
Because
the thing.
you know good and goddamn well Yoshiki would be like, this is my butt, baby, deal with it.
I think that it probably doesn't have anything to do with any of them, because Murakami was just like, fuck it, I want to do this, and I don't care, and...
And they just dug up a child?
Yeah!
We're not talking about the topic. We can do this all night.
I was going, so...
You were, and I
don't...
didn't let you.
No, because... Yeah, no. But... I don't know, because now I'm in hell.
But I want to wrap up with something that we've been seeing floating around. And this will probably get its own full episode. But for the sake of argument right now, Carola,
Yeah.
is this fetishizing gay men?
I'm so tired. No!
Carola, is this fetishizing gay men?
No, it is not.
What does fetishization of gay men even mean? What does that mean? What does that... I still... It's not a question.
No,
not to you.
thank you, because I don't know how to even...
I would love for someone to explain to me what that means, because to me, from a discourse perspective, so in marketing, we have this thing called a nothing burger, where it's basically like, it sounds like it's really something, and then you bite in, and it just like crumbles. It's a nothing burger. So like, influencers that like snap their fingers a lot and use words like synergy and galvanize and accelerate and things like that. Marketing guys, those are usually nothing burgers because they speak in nothing burgers. They speak in like, we're going to galvanize and energize to disrupt the concept. And it's like, you did not say a sentence.
You are just using the dictionary. It's like,
right,
you know,
like, yes.
like in Oliver and Company, when the bulldog is like talking to the Doberman, and he's like,
Yeah.
Isn't it a tad hazardous to use one's entire vocabulary to form one sentence? That.
Yes. So to me, when you say that fetishizes gay men, that is the equivalent of, we need to synergistically galvanize the disruption. That's what you've just said to me. That's what I hear in my brain when you say that fetishizes gay men.
Yeah, and putting it into, to use my words, like, I don't know who you are, person on the internet, accusing me of fetishizing gay men, but I, for one, know what my kinks are, and I personally know that I am not fetishizing any actual real gay men, so I don't know what gave you that idea.
Now, was some of our behavior sus as fuck back in the old days?
Yeah,
Yes.
but also our brains weren't fully developed, and Me Too didn't exist, and it was a very bleak time.
And are some people still actually fetishizing men and male actors in the name of BL?
Oh, yes.
Looking at any Supernatural fan who thought that Jensen Ackles was homophobic because he wouldn't sign your Dusty L porn.
And to make it even worse, I know that, I mean, you actually did a panel with someone on this, but you know how in a very special someone, I am so jealous, but
all of my Norwegians.
If you look at particularly Thai BL, these days, live action BL, there is a recipe where not only where they actually build on this, where they are building the couples outside of the franchises. So you always have a couple that are two guys that are being presented as a real life couple, who are being presented as a ship, and who always play in dramas together. And this has created what?
The Gravitation Special.
What about the Gravitation Special?
Where you act gay, but you're actually gay. You act gay for more money, because that was part of Toma's plan.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's almost like I know what I'm talking about.
But it's like, but what I was getting at is that this complicates things, because you will have a fandom that is made up of, based on the concept that you're supposed to fetishize this couple, and you're supposed to ship them, and you're supposed to see them as a couple, and that leads to a lot of problems. For instance, if one of them gets a real life partner, be that a man or a woman, there is a lot of online hate. There are cases where one of the actors have quit, and the other one has been paired up with someone new, and that person has received hate, and so obviously I'm not a huge fan of the way that this is being perpetuated, the way that this works, and again, this for me is just an elongation of the whole idol industry that I do hate, but it doesn't make it any better if you are not able to separate the fantasy from reality, and then someone takes away from that and just applies it to all Fujin and to everything BL, because that is not how it is. But there will always be the people who do that, and there will always be a marketing strategy that focuses on that, and that's just. But it isn't necessarily representative of the genre or of all fans or anything.
Also, forgive me as I dive back into Death Note stuff. I was reading some of the creator notes on Matt and Mello, because of course I was. And they list Matt as being lazy. And it's like, do you have any idea how difficult it must be being Mello's bitch?
He's not lazy. He's just resting in the few panels that you get to see him.
He's exhausted.
Listen.
It's like that meme. It reminds me of those memes of like the woman and the tired man. It's like, honey, are you ready for your ass kicking now? Like, but it's Matt and Mello. He's probably so tired.
But can you imagine though? Like, Mello is just keeping him at it, like, you know, at night, and then during the day, it's like, do this, run this errand, buy me chocolate, bribe the mob, drive this truck.
Yeah, he's not lazy. He's tired. He's the hardest working man in Japan right now.
Yeah, like, just let him enjoy his video game for 10 minutes. He's resting.
He doesn't get any game time. Mello fucking shoots those things out of his hands all the time.
It's so sad.
Because he is abused. That dog needs to be in the arms of an angel.
But he loves him. It's okay.
Love him.
That is also the chorus of the BL tropes, isn't it? But he loves him. It's okay.
Also, that they thought that Mello was going to be calmer and more feminine, which I don't know how you look at that and go, man.
Yeah.
I don't really know how you look at that and say, yes, a big, strong man, and describing him as having more energy than Nier, which feels like such an understatement that it's insulting.
Yeah, Nair doesn't have a personality.
Having more energy than Nier seems wrong.
2 words. Mafioso twink.
Yes.
That's it. Send tweet. That's
Please
it.
look at any design of Mello and be like, yes, that is a big, strong man right there.
I love him.
I love him and want to steal his gender as well. Carola, you know what time it is? It's time to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/the Yaoi Shelf. Your money helps keep us going. I'm not going to full Alex Jones this, where I'm going to say that, without you, that, the liberal elite is trying to shut us down. That's not true. I am the liberal elite. I have a crown on my fucking head.
This is true.
I'm ordering more. They have horns now.
Oh my god. You will
Oh,
be unstoppable!
I will be, but thank you to, where's the fucking outline? Carm, Jay, Lauren, and Jamie. Thank you guys so much. Your donations monthly honestly mean the world to us, and look out for your episode coming out soon. Also, I am absolutely putting that Norwegian man's bare ass as a patron exclusive post, so I'm going to get better about doing that. I give you guys a lot for free. And it's not because I don't like you. It's because I love all of you. Just kidding, unless you're not into that.
What are you even doing right now?
The most.
You're doing your best.
Thank you.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud
Thank
of you.
you.
I'm very grateful to the Patreons.
Yes, we're very grateful to the patrons. Carola, it's not in the outline, but we already know what we're talking about next month. Because we've been skirting around it since you got added to this show.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that?
That was a clicking noise! I was making it excited. You know what? The bullying must stop.
Squirrel? You're making it excited.
Okay, you got me. I'm actually a chipmunk. I bet you
Excellent.
didn't know.
Love that.
Yeah.
What are we talking about this month?
We're finally doing the pipeline. I believe.
Sounds like a drug.
I was
sounds like
thinking Super Mario. No.
That sounds like a 90s drug. That sounds,
Yeah.
You know what? No, that sounds like a drug that they're hunting for in Yellow.
Oh
We're
my
doing
god.
the pipeline. We're going to talk about
The pipeline from BL to
from
gender and
Fujin-
identity. Yeah.
Yeah, from Fujin to I am now some flavor of queer.
I like that. Some flavor of queer. Queer?
I mean, it's a diverse spectrum, but
Yeah,
like,
it's
happened to most of us.
I
And
think
we're going
it's
to talk about that.
I think it's really interesting, and there's definitely going to be a lot to talk about. I enjoy the some type of flavor, because I'm not entirely sure how I fit into all of this and how it all came together.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to explore that with
And
you.
Pretty much as soon as I figured out what words were, I settled and not much has changed. So I've been pretty secure in that. So I hopped into the pipeline and pretty much stayed there. But what I'm fascinated by is that I thought it was an isolated phenomena. That is not true.
No.
So we're going to tackle that whole thing in April, as well as I have been teasing many things, but hopefully some very cool content. Also, FujoCon's coming up. If you want to give us a panel suggestion, you may leave so in yield comments. We're noodling around a couple of things, including one that you guys, we're going to blow your socks off. I was going to say knock your pants off, but that sounded too aggressively sexual.
Well, yeah.
Also, it's knock your socks off, not blow your socks off. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing anymore, guys. I need lunch.
Because you said blow your socks off, and I had some imagery in my head, but then you said you didn't want to get too sexual, so I chose not to say anything.
I wasn't even thinking that. I was thinking like an actual like leaf blower.
Yeah, no, I had
Okay.
a thought, and
I'm tired and I need lunch.
I'm gonna go back to New Carnival and
Should I be
abuse
playing
my-
New Carnival?
Oh my, yes. Everyone
Okay.
should be playing New Carnival. This is not sponsored. I have just not done anything.
New
but play.
Carnival, if you want to sponsor us like Raid Shadow Legends, fuck us up, daddy.
Yes.
I'm gonna- Yes.
If New Carnival wants to sponsor us, I have one single request, and that is SSR Yakumo, please. I am dying. I just want him. I don't.
Enough of you guys need to tweet at New Carnival and let them sponsor us, okay? You have two
Yes.
homework assignments. One, give us panel ideas, and two, harass New Carnival until we get our way. Just kidding. Don't harass anyone.
Don't harass anyone.
It's the power of Twitter. We will see you guys in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening. And we will see you at the end of the month for our live stream.
Yep.
Bye.
Bye.